There are some goals that we have in our lives, some elements of our vision that require focus and deep thinking. There's no way to get around it. And yet, technology can distract us to the point that we never, ever get there. Those goals that just become things that we talk about, that we think about doing, but we never actually sit down and just get it done. There's some very interesting research around the overuse of technology and what it's actually doing to our brains. It actually prevents deep thinking. And I want to read from you a passage from my book, It's About Time, about this very issue, because I'm guessing you probably could relate to it. Whether you've got a big project like, you want to write that book one day, or maybe it's that you want to develop that business plan for that idea that you have, or maybe there's a new level you want to go to in your career or in your education, but it's going to require a great deal of focus. It could even be about the way that you want to raise your children, but it would require you to sit down and think deeply about what's meaningful and what's necessary and what's a reflection of your values. Those kinds of things require a deep thinking. So just take a listen to this. For all of the amazing good that comes from technology, it has created many challenges. One of the most consequential is the inability to think deeply about what matters and to make connections between information we learn. This is according to Nicholas Carr, author of The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains. When you frequently jump from one piece of information to the next, new information does not have a chance to move from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Short-term memory is limited, so you can hold only a small amount of information there. If you move on too quickly to new information, the information you just learned will drop from your consciousness to make room for the new before it has a chance to move to your long-term memory. Long-term memory is where information becomes knowledge. Knowledge, you own it. Once you've accumulated knowledge, your brain can begin making connections between knowledge to forge the understanding, the creativity, and the perspective that make us uniquely human. This is the highest form of the human brain. But if you don't give your attention to anything long enough for it to transition to long-term memory, the ability to think deeply is lost. How then can you decide what's truly meaningful if you're unable to make these significant connections? I don't know where this fits for you, but I know that it's a reality for millions. And if you can understand the problem by understanding that even just going from one post to the next post, one news story, okay, click here, here's a link. We go from one thing to the next and we don't truly absorb what it is that we're learning, let alone the times when we're surfing from one thing to the next that really holds no true meaning for us. So, what about you? What might unfold when it comes to your vision if you took the time to think deeply, if you let go of some of that technology use and you created the space to make those connections? You created the space to go deep so that you can go forward. This is something necessary for all of us, and it takes a lot of discipline to do in the world that we live in, but the payoff is significant. The payoff is doing the work that is meaningful so that when you look back years from now, there are no regrets about how you spent your time.